Good morning, everybody, and welcome to ESO Daily. I am your host, Mystic Raven. All right, guys, so I've been working very hard to get this new healer in my collection. And today I'm going to be introducing you guys to the Evergreen, sorry, not Everclear. That's a drink. The Evergreen build, which is Warden. Healing class. All right, guys, so the one thing that I really want to focus in on today, now keep in mind that I'm still unlocking my passives, so I'm not completely done yet. I'm still trying to acquire these passives, get everything unlocked, and everything settled in with the Warden Healer, even gear-wise. So I had to borrow some gear from my other tunes, but today I'm going to go ahead and get into this. Now I'm going to go ahead, as you can see, my buffs are starting to drop off, so I'm going to reapply my buffs, and we're going to go ahead and get into this. Now, keep in mind, I did give the disclaimer that I'm not done unlocking my passives, so bear with me here. But currently, we're looking at max magicka at 40,000 and 404. Magic recoveries at 1,354. Maximum health currently is 18,741. That will be getting bumped up when I unlock my passives. And my spell crit currently is at 47.8. I'm not done, and I will explain everything throughout this build. So you're going to see over to the left, Magicka is at 54 points allocated, health is at 10 points allocated, and the boon we're running is the Thief. Now when I switch bars, now you're going to see this is Destro, so this is Destro Resto. You do not have to go Destro Resto. I just wanted to put in a more trial-friendly build for options, but if you want to go sword and board and you're accustomed to that, I am too, so by all means you can do that. I will give you your build option here and the switch out and how to incorporate that. So just bear with me. But on this side, we're looking at a drop in magicka at 39,377. Magicka recovery is also dropped down to 12,052. Maximum health is at 18,741. And spell crit now is at 57.8. So at first you're thinking, oh my god, Mystic, why is this jumping around so much? Well, guys, that's a very good question, because what we're doing now, normally I go in the skills first, but we're going to go into the gear first, because what I'm going to be doing is running the Necropotent set along with the Spell Power Cure. So I borrowed this set from my Sorc healer. Also, we're going to be running one piece of Kina. Now, if anybody's not familiar with what Necropotence does, Necropotence gives us max magicka, max magicka, max magicka, and while I have a pet active, your max magicka is 4,000. Of course, Spell Power Cure, as most healers are aware, now if you're not, I will go over this, gives max magicka spell damage when you heal a friendly target. That is 100% health. You have a 50% chance to increase their weapon and spell damage by 252 for 10 seconds. Now, the big thing here, guys, now I'm going to start getting into the skills. Now, keep in mind, I'm still working on getting my orbs. So, and I'll go through this. Now, this is the Resto, in the Destro side. Now, what I want to show you guys is we're going to go into first the passives, because I really want to kind of cover this. And I still got 1 point to go into my last passive. Accelerated growth. When healing you or an ally under 40% health with a green balance ability, you gain major mending, increasing your healing done by 25% for 3 seconds. Now, this is what's really great about this, because every time anybody's under 40% and you're healing them, the major mending keeps reapplying. Right? Add that with your heavy attacks off your resto staff, you're going to continuously keep major mending up more frequently. So when it drops down low, you don't have to worry about, like, I need major mending now. With the accelerated growth, it's going to apply and it's going to bump up your healing spikes. So it's a really good passive, and it's not overbearing and always applying. So because if you overheal, it doesn't do anything. It really does. You can't cap over. It's true that when you're healing at 100%, you apply the Spell Power Cure, but there's, unless it's a hot, there's nothing being reapplied on as far as instant healing go. There's no heal over. So, what the best thing about it is, the accelerated growth, when they drop, it applies to Major Mending. Now, we're going to take a look at Nature's Gift. When healing an ally with a green balance ability, gain 250 Magicka or Stamina resource. Magicka or Stamina restores your lowest resource pool. And as a healer, we want to keep the Magicka high. You know, we're not going to have Stamina. It's going to reapply our Magicka. So, we have a great passive resource to keep using regaining our magicka. And even though people think that's a little overpowered, it really isn't, because it's every time you heal, right, with the green balance ability. It's not any time you heal with the resto ability or any other ability. It is specifically green balance ability. All right. Emerald Moss. Increase healing done for green balance abilities by 2% for each green balance ability slotted. This is great because, like the Nightblade that has to have specific abilities slotted to increase its healing capability, so does the Warden. So Emerald Moss has to be used very carefully on how you slot in your abilities to capitalize more healing benefits on your rotation. Okay, now Maturation. Maturation is probably the biggest reason this is what separates the Warden healer from every other healer. Now, Zoss has done such a good job making every class kind of unique in its healing role. So when you pick up every healer, they have pros and cons, right? For the Nightblade, it's a damaging effect, but its heal scales off the damage. But you can't deal too much damage because then you don't heal enough, right? So same thing with the DK. The DK has the lowest healing amount, but mitigates the difference. The Sork has the highest healing, but the problem of it is it's very, very dependent on its Twilight Matriarch, which can die. When it does, well, you know where it goes. But for this is what's awesome, because it's not just the green balance, it's any healing that applies this, and especially in trials on certain mechanics. Sometimes you're going to take excess damage, and as a healer, it can be overbearing. It can be almost just gut-wrenching to keep people from dying on just the most simplest mechanics that people are just beginning to learn. So what this does is gives them the boost of 10% for 5 seconds. If you keep healing and you keep the hots applied, it's continuous. So this is what the Warden brings to every party. It gives them a buff. And to me, I love it. I love this. Now, I don't have all the abilities slotted, but I want to go ahead and get into this because this is the best thing. I love this ultimate ability. I've been playing with this in PvP, PvE, running this around. I love Healing Thicket. I wouldn't use it in a trial, but because you have other applications you have to keep applying in a trial. But when you're running 4-man, you're running PvP, Healing Thicket is so badass because it instantly swells a healing force around you or an ally in the area, restoring 9,979 health. The force continues to heal you and all allies in the area for 5,021 every second for over 6 seconds. When the effect ends, allies continue to receive 25,105 healing over 4 seconds. Why do I like this so much? Because the cost, 75 ultimate. It's an easy obtainable ultimate, and I'm popping this thing like crazy. Love it. I love this ultimate. Enchanted Growth. Definitely this is going to be a primary in a lot of your builds. Budding Seeds. Once again, this is you can think of this kind of like a Breath of Life, but an AoE effect, right? So instead of just like 2 targets, this can affect everybody in the target area, like Healing Springs. So, and of course, what I really like about this, it offers a synergy. So if anybody has maul sets, it can help proc that the maul sets. Love it. Leaching Vines. I love this ability, especially when applied to the tank. The big thing for me with Leaching Vines is the minor lifesteal, because what that does for us, for 10 seconds, it's going to heal you and your allies for 779 health every second when they damage an enemy. Period. So every time that person with the Leaching Vines attacks, it's healing 779 every second to all the party members. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Lotus Blossom. This is once again going to kind of be a necessity in a lot of your builds. Why? Because as you guys can see on my back bar, I don't have Inner Light. But why don't I? Because I'm using Lotus Blossom. Lotus Blossom here, what it does is it amplifies my weave. Okay? So every time I do a light attack, it's going to restore 1,805 health. When I do a heavy attack, it restores 5,417 health to me or a nearby ally for 20 seconds. What it also gives me is the Major Prophecy, which Inner Light typically does. Now, because I'm not using Inner Light, I'm going to drop Max Magicka. This is why I'm going to use the Northern Storm as an ultimate slot, because it's going to give me that Max Magicka of 8%. Okay? But what this does is you're going to be weaving a lot as a healer. Why not capitalize on it with the Lotus Blossom? All right? Nature's Grasp, I haven't had this morph. It's a great hot, as you guys can see. It heals for a lot. I just, as a healer, I don't necessarily want to be where the DPS is, right? And that's kind of my only thing about the Nature's Grasp. I am trying to unmorph it, and it's good for PvP. PvE, I don't like it so much. So, there it is. But let's get into my rotation here. Alright, so I'm going to be using, like I said, the Enchanted Growth. It's going to go ahead, see the large area of mushrooms that heals me and my allies in a frontal cone for 8,394 health. Now keep in mind, targeting is very important with this ability, because also what this is going to do, though, is give us minor intellect and minor endurance, increasing magic and stamina recovery by 10% for 20 seconds. This always needs to be applied, especially if you're going to be doing trials or vet dungeons, because that recovery is crucial, and every healer has some form of minor intellect and minor endurance, at least minor intellect. Like for my Sorc healer, I use Empowering Ward. Why? Because it applies the minor intellect, giving that magicka recovery. Budding Seeds. For me personally, this is great. It heals, it offers a synergy, and I can cast it as an instant effect. So, a great ability. Of course, we're all familiar with the Elemental Drain. Now, typically, I only be running this in trials, but I'm going to slot it today. And typically, what I would suggest, if somebody has Ele Drain slotted, is take the Expansive Frost Cloak. Why? Why would you supplement this? Like, say if me and a Templar are going in on a trial. He's got Ele Drain. I'm going to slot this. Why? Because it gives my DPS the Major Resolve and Major Ward, increasing physical and spell resistance. That's why. The more damage I can prevent from them, the more it's going to benefit my heals. I want to reduce the damage taken, and that Major Ward and Major Resolve is very, very important. It's just crucial, guys. So if somebody's got Ele Drain, slot the cloak. It applies to the entire party within the radius. All right. Leaching Vines, we went over this. I really like this ability. But unfortunately, what's going to end up happening, I'm going to replace this with my orbs. So I would never actually keep this. So when I get my orbs, Leaching Vines is going to be taken out, and orbs are going to be slotted in. So that's where I'm going to slot my orbs. Okay, so this is basically like a buff bar for me most of the time, with the exception of Budding Seeds. So I'm going to put my orbs right there with Leaching Vine. Of course, I have Inner Light on this bar, and of course my Aggressive Warhorn. Now when I go to this bar, this is the big deal. Typically I run Healing Ward, and I have it because it's still good in 4-mans, but in a trial this becomes more imperative for the Warden. Why is it so much more imperative for the Warden? Because the Warden has everything within, it has to be in line of sight. It has to be in a cone direction. Mutagen's going to be applied without any line of sight issues. So I want to apply this hot very frequently so I can go ahead and have that cushion my other healing effects if anybody becomes lost. which is line of sight. If anybody becomes lost, then I want to go ahead, and that's what mutagen's going to do. It's going to give the cushion until I can redirect my heals. So mutagen for the Warden is pretty much a necessity, but you can slot the healing ward in certain occasions and certain boss fights, but I would suggest keeping mutagen up at all times. And also keep in mind, it is a hot, but if anybody falls below 20% health, the mutagen's consumed, and it'll give instant heal of 6,124 and removes one harmful effect. Also, healing springs. We all know that majority of healers will use healing springs. This is no exception. I will always use it. Why? Because it's a hot, and it also going ahead and help restore my max magicka. Combat prayer. If you are a healer that's not running combat prayer, please retire as a healer. Okay? Combat prayer. Every healer has it. Every one of my builds as a healer has combat prayer. No exception to the rule. Why? Buff, 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 buff. Minor berserk, minor resolve, minor ward, increases physical increases damage by 8%, increases physical and spell resistance by 1,320. This is why. Now keep in mind, this is the minor. When you add the cloak, if you're not going to be doing Ellie Drain, you're getting major. You're completely, mitigating damage. That's, less healing you have to do. So once again, if somebody in a trial is running Ellie, get the expansive, because this applies to everybody in the area. All right, plain and simple. Also, Blue Betty. Blue Betty is kind of another resource that's going to be crucial for you. Why? Because it's going to restore 4,029 magicka over 25 seconds. It also gives you major sorcery, increasing spell damage. So you're getting a buff, a cleanse also, because when you activate it, it removes one negative effect. And that's very nice. And you're getting, a utility out of it. So, so speaking of Blue Betty, let's check this out. So all of a sudden you guys see that I'm at 40,000. I'm going to keep Blue Betty up at all times. Why? Because it activates my Necropotence. So now I'm getting 5,000 extra magicka. Now, add that with Lotus Blossom, and now my spell crit goes up as well. Alright? So these two abilities are a must-have up at all times. You're never going to go without these two. And also keep in mind, guys, that in my skills, when I go to green balance, I want to keep Lotus Blossom on Resto side. This is the one ability I'm going to do. Why? Because I'm going to get that 2% increase to my healing on Resto. And on this side, I'm getting 6. All right? So once again, Lotus Blossom. It's magnifying any of my heavy attacks. Now, even if I use my lightning staff, and I do have the lightning staff, the weaves are going to apply the health. Right? So every time I'm going to be healing, when you take a look at Restoration Staff passive, right? This is really, really important here. Let me see it. Restores an additional 30% magicka when you complete a heavy attack. This is our resource, right? Increase your healing done by 15%. And of course, right here. I'm trying to find it. Oh, right here. Essence Drain. You also heal yourself or a nearby ally to the target for 38% of the damage inflicted of the final hit of your fully charged heavy attack. Right? So 38% of the damage that you deal with a restoration staff is going to heal you or a party. Right? The Lotus Blossom, what that does is it also restores additional health with a heavy attack of an additional 5,236. This is what makes the Warden healer one of the most badass healers. We all weave as healers, right? And everybody's like, everything's in a frontal cone. It has a line of sight issue. It's healing more on a weave than any other healer can. Any other healer. Why? Because of the Lotus Blossom. Simple. And of course, we've gone over Northern Storm. Northern Storm is slotted. Why? Because it gives me the 8% extra magicka, because I'm not using the inner light on this, because I'm needing this and I'm needing this. So it's going to give me the extra boost towards my healing effects. Now, as you guys can see, and this is the one thing I want to go ahead and also show you. When we look at combat prayer without the necro, it's only healing for 6,031, right? Now, when I go back in, now I'm getting an additional 890 out of it. So, and keep in mind my Undaunted passive isn't unlocked. So, the Necropotence comes in handy a lot. So, there it is, guys. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to see what the dailies are. So you guys kind of have the idea of the builds. And keep in mind, it's flexible. It has just as much flexibility as the Templar. But the problem of it is it is more of a challenge for gameplay style. Once again, that's kind of why I like playing every healer role, because what it does... Oh, I'm sorry. I have the voice indication off. It's turned off. But leave a comment after and I'll answer. The one thing... it's a challenging game. It's a challenging healer. Every healer has something unique to it in this game, right? And my favorite is probably my Nightblade to play. It's fast paced. It moves. But one of the healers I'm more used frequently because it's requested is my DK. Why? Because he mitigates a lot of damage. Heals the less, but mitigates so much that the offset's there, and the DK healer works out great. Now this is another thing I want to show you guys, and I didn't really get into this, and is the difference between the neurotic orbs. So even prior to morph, now we're getting the utility out of it, right? Because when people synergize with it, they're restoring magicka and stamina. Right, so it's going to explode, deal damage. It's going to restore 3,960 magicka or stamina to them, whichever max is higher. So this is very, very, very important to remember, because I can go healing orbs, or I can go with the neurotics orbs other morph to deal more damage. Either way, I'm still going to get the return. This is equivalent now to the shards. Okay, so nobody's going to be using blazing shards anymore, right? Everybody's going to be going with the other one. And then for the Templar, that makes sense. For every other healer, now this is what the Warden doesn't have. Neither does the DK, neither does the Nightblade, neither does the Sorcerer, right? It's always been a problem with resource management, but the devs tweaked up the Neurotic Orb, said, hey, we're going to give it to all of you guys with stamina. Magicka was always applied to the Neurotic Orb anyways, but not the healing orbs. We're going to just put it on there, so now you guys have it. The only difference is now we have a GCD. Okay, so plain and simple, every healer has access to the same abilities as far as restoring. The only difference is Templars have it in the shards. Every other healer has to use the orbs. Okay, plain and simple. You can take the healing orbs, give you more heal, which with the Warden is what I would suggest. Go with the healing orb, because you want to keep applying that toughness, man, for the green balance ability. You really want to. You want to keep this up at all times. You want to keep maturation up at all times. That minor toughness increasing just as a nice cushion. It's the difference in the twist for the Warden healer. All right, so let's see what's going on today. One. Okay, I probably could do that on bet with this. Oof. That one's a little bit more. Hey, I just hate the end. Everything's up until there's like 2 bosses, because when you get like if you get skeleton as a healer, life sucks. Life really sucks. But yeah, let's go ahead and queue it. Now I'm actually I don't have the orbs, so I'm just going to do the normal. Now actually I'll do Elden Hollow 1 vet, and then I'll do Blackheart Haven and normal. The only reason being I don't have orbs, and in at least 1 or 2 of those fights, those orbs come in handy for resource management. Now, like I said, I'm trying to get it. Bear with me, guys. If I had the orbs, I'd be like, fuck it, let's go do it. But yeah, this is a great build. I liked it. It was easy to pick up on in the beginning levels even, right? Was able to grab the rest of those staff abilities pretty fast, pretty quick. Low XP to, morph. The passives towards the Warden, starting off as a healer, was more accessible probably than DK Nightblade. Sorky didn't have that really problem. You just always, depended more on resto. So it was like dual resto for me for sorcerer, in those beginning levels. But when I did the Warden up, it was just a lot more easier. Start working on the two-handed sword and board. You can go sword and board, and that's another thing I wanted to say here. So let's say you don't want to go Destro, right? You have a Templar who has Destro. Only thing you're going to go ahead and do is you're going to take off Kina, and you're going to take off the Spell Power Cure Shoulders, right? What you can do is slot a monster set, whether it's a Sentinel, Choke Thorns, whatever, and then you're going to take your Destro bar, and you're going to slot a Spell Power Cure sword, and you're going to also slot a and a Spell Power Cure a board. So that's the only difference. Or something. So you could go sword and board, you can go dual wield, you can do whatever you. Okay, we know I'm not going to be in there. It's not going to happen. Okay, I'm going to reapply my food just in case. Okay, same thing as every other heal build. The only difference is I'm always making sure that these two are reapplied, the Lotus and the Betty, as much as possible. Nice thing about this, once you get it down, pugging, so easy. Unless DPS sucks. That's nothing. Lotus Blossom, it makes it so much easier to heal even with the Destro staff. Love that too. Deal damage and heal with a Destro. Yeah, I'm good. That's what I like to do. I'll wait for a big pull. Oh, it's right there. Like something's hitting us. Alright. Why does DPS have a resto? Is he a low level? Yeah, he's a low level. I'm like, what is that? Okay. Now sometimes I'll just go ahead and I'll go balls to the wall, and when I have a big pull or something, then I'll hit that ulti. Nice thing too, if you're going to be running Ellie Drain, use that lightning staff, weave it up, and gain your magicka back. We all know that though. Alright. Now typically I'd be throwing orbs in on my rotation, but I've been adding the lifesteal. Oh, heavy sack. Add. Oh my god, shut the fuck up. Give me that. People might die. Not my fault. I want the sack, guys. It's not my fault. Now, as a healer, we all know that we want to stay back anyways. I mean, everybody's like, it's in a cone shape. I'm like, what healer do you know is on front of the line? Maybe the Nightblade. Maybe the Nightblade. I mean, it's so easy, guys, to heal with this. I mean, I think I did 2 vets yesterday, like easy ones, but yeah, whatever. Everybody's like, the Warden's not a good healer compared to the Templar. What does it offer a party? I don't know, 10% extra boost on your health? Shit. You got me twisted. Shit. No, what, really, guys? Come on, man. Wrong way. Look at me. I'm blind, excuse me, by the way. I'm blindly following people. Probably seeing if there's a heavy sack or, you know, chest. Backpack, backpack. Backpack, backpack. I don't know if they're taking them in or not. Not really anything infused, yeah. Do 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 do. Do-do. Come on, let's go. Let's go. I know the tank's not here. Don't know. He'll be coming. She'll be coming. Well, it's probably he. He'll be coming around the mountain. Is the tank here? Restroom break? Possibly? No. Come over here. Heavy sack. Let's see what's going on. One thing you never see on a DPS build of mine, a resto staff. It'll never fucking happen. I will guarantee you that shit. I'm sure you do. I will never, ever, ever, ever put resto destro on DPS builds. Never. just doesn't happen. I'd rather go dual Destro if I wanted to do something like that, but never Resto. I mean, PvP's different. PvP's always going to be different. I don't like Resto on a DPS build at all. I always remembered when I first started this game, a lot of Sorks are running Resto Destro. I don't know which YouTuber told him to do that, but I was like, why would I want a low damage staff compared to a high damage staff to keep the heals? That doesn't make no fucking sense. If I have a healer, shouldn't the healer be healing? You know, just questionable. I mean, you know, that's the one thing, man. This dude is like, whatever. I don't know what's going on. Is it coming? That's what we'll do. I'll find another one. I don't care. A restroom break? I don't know. They should have gave us a heads up. Dropping a douche, yo. Oh, who's the lead? Okay. Fuck this. Let's do this. Is this a required one? Yeah, but fuck it. Ew, gross. He spewed some shit at me. Motherfucker. Bone Pirate Sturdy. Okay.
Now, let me see that.
So, yeah. At least he doesn't need the daily potentially. Maybe 45. You know.
Should do it. Finally, this nightmare will come to an end.
Are you mad, Shifty?
You'll kill us all.
That's the point.
This is no way for a man to live.
Technically, you're not a man anymore, really. Now you know the truth. Yeah, nada. Now I will be actually I have also my DPS build mapped out for this dude. Two actually, two different ones. Magicka. The biggest thing a lot of people have been saying about Warden, that and I'll give you guys a heads up. The devs were a little smart when it came to thinking about the Magicka Warden DPS build. Which the sorcerer has a little bit of. Let's talk about necropotence. We know what necropotence is going to do, right? We know. And as a magical warden, no matter what your secondary is going to be, depending on your mundus, the one thing that the DPS is always going to be kind of hindering on is more of that necro, right? Because the devs were like, we know what necropotence can do, especially with the warden. I mean, come on, man. So a lot of people were like, magical warden DPS just sucks. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you guys haven't figured it out yet. But necropotence, there's going to be a lot of base sets on a lot of builds for magical warden. It's just the way it is. There's different ways to capitalize a little bit better. I will say that. I'm not going to give out my build at this point, but let's just say it's kind of interesting. Somebody better get on that boss. I knew it. Get him up. Bump him. Jesus. I'll just let you do your thing right there. Bump him. Bump. Bump. I got the stamp. Jesus, Matisse. Go healer for the friggin' bash. Come on, man. Oh, nice! That is so fucking slick! Yes! Imp and Bone, shut the fuck up. I have got something good out of this whole run, even if I get nothing. Now, I already have my Bone Pirates set, like, my skeleton set. I have, the head, the mask and stuff, so I don't really need vet. I do vet more or less for you guys. When I'm back on my normal PS4, I don't need anything from really vets. So a lot of times, unless I'm doing something specific for somebody, I don't even do a lot of vets anymore. If I'm farming. Unless someone's like, oh, I need this for the keys or something. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. I'll jump in and all that stuff. I should actually be doing it because I'm wondering if in the next DLC or two, the devs are going to drop in some more monster sets. I've been getting kind of lazy with... I've been on the PC a lot more lately, right? So I'm having to redo all the vets on PC because I don't have all those monster sets. And it's like, oh shit, I don't really have all these monster sets on PC. So I have to do the vets. I have to. Because I want those extra keys, right? I mean, it makes sense. Whatever. But on here, it's like I didn't need them. But now I'm wondering, are the devs going to put in new monster sets with new dungeons? We know sooner or later it's going to happen, and banking up keys is kind of a good thing, but I'm just not going to lie. I'm just like, forget we'll do normal. Let's go farm, and we'll farm and whatever. Farming zones, man, that's been interesting for me. I hate farming zones because I'd rather do dungeon farming than zone farming. Just hate zone farming. It's like run there, come back, go there, go there, go there. Now, for me personally, I didn't feel like I needed to go vampire on this. Races. I chose high elf, by the way, because I know I was going to go DPS sooner or later. You can go Argonian. Keep in mind, even with the Necropotence, your his magic is going to be a little low, but you're going to get that boost to healing, which is kind of nice. So, you know, so Argonian's good. Breton, awesome. You can't complain about Breton. I like the high elf on this one, personally. Max Magicka, recovery. I like him. I like high elf on this. Dunmer, you could go. I wouldn't suggest Dunmer. Typically, like Dunmer DK worked for me. So did Nightblade. But I think you get more benefits either Argonian, High Elf. Breton's kind of nice because if you want to go with the Warden tank later and switch down, it's really good because of the spell resistance. So... As you guys can see, my Magicka doesn't drop low, really ever. Kind of nice. Now once again, I'm going to go ahead and use this. Oh my god, Slick! I know what I'll be doing here in the next couple of days. Do 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 do. I'm a hoarder, by the way, guys. I hoard gear so bad. Me and my friend were talking, and they're like, "Yeah, Mystic, you got your extra bank space," and I'm like, "Fucking bullshit!" And they're like, "Why?" And I'm like, "I don't have enough. I still don't have enough." Because I already filled up my bank the first day. Done. I couldn't play there for a while on a lot of tunes because their bags were like just popping at the seams. And it was funny. I was like, they're like, "Don't you need like your Alkosh axe still?" And I'm like, "Yes, I know. I do need my Alkosh axe. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be doing anything anytime soon because I don't have anywhere to put it. I have nowhere to put it. Zero. None. Okay. Come on. Let's go. We can do it. It's okay. Don't be scared. I was afraid once.
What's this?
I know his heart's black, but he's really a softie inside, guys. Now, a nice thing also about this, if you can kind of keep the HOTS and everything kind of going down, and if you do get skeleton, there at least be somewhat of a cushion. No, 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 no. Yep, it's me. I'm like, is he doing what I think he's doing? Oh, I know, you bastard. Normal, what can you say? Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to be working on getting this Undaunted passive, guys. Very important here. Once you get the Undaunted passive and you get your Neurotic Orb, go ahead and slot it into the space with Leaching Vines. Now, if you're not going to be using Ellie Drain, you can put it there and keep the Leaching Vines. Leaching Vine has a lot of benefit to the application. But if you're going to be doing trial and somebody doesn't have, what I would suggest is this: put the orbs with the Leaching Vines, put the Ellie Drain for a trial. If the other person has the Ellie Drain, swap out the Ellie Drain for the Winter's Embrace Frost Cloak. And that's unless you have a Warden tank. If you have the Warden tank, you ain't going to need this. But this, the Major Resolve Major Ward applies to everybody within a 28 meter radius. This reduces damage, because same thing with the Combat Prayer is going to do the minor. Alright, so there it is, pretty much said and done. If you have any questions or comments, please post below. I want to thank everybody for watching, and once again, don't believe their bullshit, guys. Don't believe their bullshit. The devs are pretty good at what they do, and they, once again, they make everything viable. We just have to pay attention. You know, it's funny because it used to be argued that Templars were better healers because of Major Mending, and I'm like, every class can get Major Mending through rest of staff passive. But, whatever. But, once again, it's completely doable. And they always made it that way. They really bumped up the orbs. Thank you, Zoss. I appreciate you guys. And, yeah, I'm loving the Warden Healer. Loving him. What he brings to a party, I got to test him in Halls of Fabrication. With the Warden Healer, badass. The health buff in certain points just made such a difference. You pair that up with the Templar, or you can go Warden DK, Templar DK. I want to try my Sorc Healer out in some trials now. I never put him in a trial before up until this point, but now I'm looking forward to a lot of things that they because of the orb changes. Just that principle, just that alone has opened up countless possibilities. But yeah, pretty much said and done. The Warden Healer. I want to thank you once again. If you, like I said, if you have any questions or comments, post below. And once again, and always, have a nice day.